Hello and welcome to another CK3 video. You saw the title. We are going to ask the question, what if the Abbasid Empire existed in Crusader Kings 3? This is the peak of the Abbasid Empire, and I want to see what would happen in CK3. Will they fall apart? Will they conquer the world? Who will know? We will go until the end date, and the AI is going to play this out. And if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for future Crusader Kings 3 content, and let's get into it. Right away, I can say that they are pretty powerful. They have a lot of troops. The biggest thing is going to be keeping the empire together, because having an empire this early into the game, this powerful, has a really big problem with the succession laws. So if they can get past their succession laws, I think they should be fine, but it will be very interesting to see. So the Abbasids did get a name change. I will call them the Abbasids unless they completely get dismantled, but this is still the Abbasid Empire. They just have a name change. We still have to worry about the Byzantines, because the Byzantines are really strong. If we look at the troop count, they're not too bad, and with Bulgaria usually falling apart, the Byzantines can get a lot of power. The Abbasids just really need to murder the Byzantines right away. There also is a risk that the faith and culture is not 100% on their side, so there's a big chance of having a lot of uprising, especially with culture. A lot of their culture is very different, and their religion is mostly the correct religion, but in a couple areas it is not the right faith. I also want to give credit where credit's due. I used a mod. The mod will be in the description down below, so if you want to have the Abbasids in your game, you can use it too. Well, so far it's looking like the Abbasid Empire is just going to conquer everything. They've already taken a bite out of the Byzantines, so that's not good because they're the biggest threat. Bulgaria has imploded completely. They always do. It's not really a shock. So it's what?
Wait, what?
This? Iceland has taken a chunk out of Alba. Yo, that's. Oh, and then what? I didn't buff Iceland, did I? Okay. We gotta keep an eye. Iceland, you keep doing you. Ireland's already formed, which is pretty early too. Italy blew up. That's pretty bad, and the Abbasids are going crazy. Byzantines can get a lot of power here, but it's looking like the Abbasids will keep going. There is a chance when their ruler dies, because this still is their first ruler. No, this is their second ruler, actually. If their second ruler dies, there still could be some problems, so we just gotta keep on watching in case they blow up further along. But it's not looking good for the rest of the world. It looks like the Abbasids are just gonna conquer everything, which should happen. Like, if it doesn't happen, I'd be pretty surprised, but that's why we make this video. Okay, we are about 80 years into this campaign, and it is looking grim for the world. The Abbasid Empire is just keep on expanding. They're expanding in North Africa, East Africa, also over in Asia they're expanding. Not too much in the Byzantines. They're actually a little scared of the Byzantines, which is good. They're kind of our last hope. If the Abbasid Empire really go after these yellow guys up here, we're in problem. But there's also a thing we have to remember is the Crusades, because a crusade happened and Jerusalem did pop up. So there's a possibility for more crusades against the Abbasid Empire, and that could be the death of them. Most likely not. The Abbasids will probably just conquer anything. They do have to be careful of the Mongolian Empire, because one thing that could happen is the Mongols pop up, subjugate the entire nation, and then the nation explodes later. So there's still a chance for them to blow up, but they're looking really good right now. They actually have a troop count of 37,000. The Abbasids are actually having a lot of problems. They're actually losing a lot of wars. The Byzantines actually took this chunk back from them. They're also getting some of their other borders shrunk a little bit from other wars, and it's because they're having a lot of internal civil wars and a lot of conflicts. So they're getting in too many independence wars and too many like liberty wars and stuff like that, and other people are just taking advantage and grabbing land back. So this could be the fall, but they're still very powerful. But like, people are catching up. Byzantines have 17k troops, and the Abbasids only have 10k, so they're actually struggling a lot. Only one bad ruler is all it takes to really make the empire fall. But also some shout outs. Finland is doing absolutely amazing. Finland usually never does this good, and it's because they kind of have been forming with Latvia and Estonia, like kind of having successions like that. Iceland is still doing really good. They have some land they shouldn't have, which is pretty cool. And Ireland, Alba, England, and Wales are very united. This is 867, so usually it's not this united so fast. So we actually could see a major power come out of the British Isles, which is very uncommon. But besides that, it's pretty messy still. The Byzantines are doing good. Poland and Lithuania are kind of doing good. But then in this middle here is just absolutely ugly. But we should see if anything pops up. And I usually don't cover India or Africa because usually there's never a major power that pops up there. It's usually just Europe and the Middle East. Well, the Abbasid Empire is definitely having a bit of trouble. They're losing land from different empires. They actually had a couple of big nations become independent from them. We have a big chunk independent here. Transylvania got independent. Some places in Africa got independent. Not too bad. They definitely can still recover. They have a ton of power. Their ruler right now really is horrible, so they're probably going to lose some more land. They really need to get a new ruler because this guy, he's just not it. Which is actually leading the Byzantines to get a ton of power. They're doing really good. I could see them actually taking over the Abbasid. Also, I just want to give a big shout to Alba. Alba never does this good. They're kicking England's butt. They actually might be able to form Britannia. I know England never does it, but Alba could. And they actually have some land in West Francia too. So there's a chance that they could spread. This empire here is actually pretty good. They're pretty powerful. They did conquer Poland, so they have a claim there, but they lost them. So we actually have some cool nations around here that usually don't do too well that are doing good. Finland's doing really good. This empire usually gets wiped out, but I think the Abbasid actually been distracting the Byzantines. So this is actually quite an interesting game. Besides Iberia, this place is disgusting. The border gore, hate it so much, but we will actually see what will happen because it's quite interesting, especially with the Abbasids kind of collapsing. I think they can still bring it back, but they really got to pick it up soon. So not too much has happened except for the Abbasid Empire is really falling apart. Kind of this Egypt nation has gotten their independence, are now looking really good. They're actually Egyptian, so they got their independence and they're looking really good. A lot of other nations popped up. The Abbasids can definitely still do a lot of work. They're still really powerful. That bad leader really took a beating for them. The Byzantines are really starting to pull ahead. They're taking a lot of this Bulgaria, Croatia kind of area. Alba, England, mess as it tends to be. I was really excited, but nothing really happened. This Sampi and Finland are doing really good. Same with like Lithuania. These nations usually aren't that good, but they're really starting to do good this episode. So I'm hoping there's kind of this strong northern power. Hopefully this like kingdom here, which are kind of like nomads, kind of barbarians, kind of tribal people, they're doing really good this episode. They usually really struggle. They actually united a lot of this land, so I wouldn't be surprised if they form an empire if they haven't already. Yeah, they are an empire, so they are doing amazing. And then West Francia, East Francia, Aquitaine, and Bavaria are kind of killing each other, not really forming together. This Portugal nation, though, is kind of cool. I haven't seen this pop up ever. But lots of disappointment besides this northern nations up here, and Abbasids are being big disappointments. I was expecting them to fall, but like not this poorly, this fast. Well, I figured out why the Abbasid might be having some problems. Negative 5,000 gold could lead to some problems. I do notice when the AI has a lot of wealth, they don't really know how to control their armies without going into massive debt. And are they in massive debt? Oh, holy cow. The Abbasids look like they're having a great comeback. 100,000 troops. Byzantines with only 39. This is the time for the Abbasid to shine. They are conquering nations left and right. Egypt is here. And look at this. What the heck? Hispania was formed. Iberia is united by a Muslim nation. Oh, not good. That means that Aquitaine and West Francia are going to get eliminated. Wales. Oh, Wales. I see you. Wait, Wales. Why are you up there? Interesting. Yeah, so pretty much now it's the Abbasids and Byzantines and Iberia. And to be honest, these are the three nations that usually do successful. I would really like to see something different. Maybe Bavaria or West Francia pull out or something. But it looks like Alba's having too much problem with Wales. And it's just going to be pretty much a normal game. The Abbasids got united and really nothing really changed. Byzantines are doing good and so is Iberia. The Abbasids actually kind of look like how they did normally. They don't even look that strong even though they start with so much. So Alba's doing really good and I have high hopes that they will make Britannia. I don't think they will. West Francia looks like they're struggling. There's no way that they'll defeat this Islamic nation here, so they're probably going to die. Bavaria won't stop the Byzantines. The Abbasid Empire has really come back. They actually are looking really good. I have high hopes that they might win this game. They've lost a lot of land, but they've also gained a lot of new ones. The Byzantines are really strong as well, but the Abbasids are stronger. This nation up here that kind of came out of the Abbasids are really strong too. The only thing that I could see that happening is the Abbasids have a weak leader when the Mongols come, and the Mongols just wreck them. But it's actually looking really good for the Abbasid. By the way, I'm still calling them the Abbasid. And everyone else is kind of falling apart. There's no real good people in the middle of Europe. They really have blown up really bad here. Everyone that was kind of doing good is completely dead. So it's really just the Byzantines, the Abbasid, and this Islamic Iberia. Besides that, I don't see anyone else coming out and doing anything big. It really does depend on the Mongols though. The Mongols are here, but I think they are too late. This nation is the Mongols, but the Abbasid Empire is actually fantastic. They ate this little guy here. They are super powerful. I actually don't think anyone can beat them. I think the Byzantines and the Mongols would have to attack them at the exact same time. I would be actually shocked if the Abbasid or the Arabian Empire just take all of India as well. I think they've actually been taking some land from the Byzantines, so they should probably keep expanding. And then this Islamic Iberia is actually kicking butt too. So it's looking pretty much over, and then Alba is dropping the ball. England's fighting them back. So we pretty much are just going to see the Abbasid Empire fall, come back, and conquer everything. Well, you know, I think I'm pretty good at this game now. I said the only thing that would really stop the Abbasid is if the Mongols took them over. And the Mongols took them over. So that is what happened. The Mongolian Empire has taken over the Abbasid Empire. They actually renamed to Arabian Empire. But yeah, they got taken over by the Mongols, which is not good because this means the Mongols are super powerful. And once they get their freedom, this is not staying together. This is no longer under one empire. So yeah, this is very bad. So I think the Abbasids are out of here. They are not going to win this. The Byzantines now look like the front runner, maybe Hispania. Hispania's kind of weird. Usually they're not named Hispania, they have some other Islamic name. So this is actually kind of interesting because this is a Muslim faith, but they're still Hispania, so very interesting. But yeah, so this just means the Abbasid are pretty much KO'd because whenever they take over a nation, they blow up that nation after they let them go. So yeah, this is not good. And actually, this is a really powerful Mongolia now. Probably the most powerful Mongolia I've ever seen. So they have a chance to keep going past this. I don't know if they will because their leader is getting pretty old, but this is going to be extremely interesting now. Yeah, so the Abbasid broke free, but this is what it looks like. Yeah. This is a very disgusting map. Pretty bad. So it's Hispania and the Byzantines because the Mongols never last. But yeah, this is going to be eaten up by the Byzantines. Maybe this Indian Empire can do good. But yeah, this is ugly. Well, West Francia was doing good. They actually got all this land up in Denmark and over in like the German areas, Netherlands. And then they split into two, unfortunately. So now there are two kingdoms here. So Hispania, or the Muslim Hispania, is going to absolutely destroy them. Unfortunately, Alba's actually doing really good, so hopefully they can take out Ireland and England and maybe do something. But the Byzantines are just gonna roll away with it. The Mongols are gone, and since the Abbasid are gone too, no one can stop the Byzantines. I actually think that this Indian Empire might do good, Hamdan. So hopefully they keep on picking up some land. They're pretty much our only hope right now. But really, there is like no one to stop the Byzantines, really, like neighbor-wise. The only one that can really stop them is this Islamic Hispania. But I really don't think the Byzantines will have much threat for them because they're just eating people left and right. Maybe Bavaria can do something if they take some land or something like that, but in reality, it looks like it's going to be another Byzantine game. Okay. Well, it looks like now the Byzantines are the only one that can win. So the Byzantines are expanding rapidly now. They even have some land over here in like France. West Francia actually united again, so I kind of jumped the gun. But West Francia is looking really good. They're actually at war with the Byzantines right now. I do not think they will beat the Byzantines, but you know, it could happen. But then Hispania got 2 different independence wars and lost 2 big chunks of their nation. I don't think it's going to last. I think they're actually probably gonna get eaten up by somebody. But the Byzantines now are really expanding, and with the Muslim Hispania kind of dying, it doesn't look too good for the world. These guys in India are actually looking really good. This is the best Indian nation I've ever seen, but it's gonna be a rough game the rest of the time. It's just gonna be the Byzantines murdering everyone. We are almost to the end date, and the Byzantine looks like they're going for a world conquest game before the end date, because they are doing insane. They have this big chunk over in France. They took over one of the splits from the Hispania Empire, so it's pretty rough. West Francia blew up again into 2 different things, and Alba's kind of forming. They're doing all right. This Indian nation, though, is doing so good. They're wrecking over here. This is the best I've ever seen an Indian nation do. Of course, they're losing a war the second I say that, but they look amazing. But the Byzantines, there's nothing that can stop them at this point. There was like this Burgundy Empire here that just fell apart right now, and so that was the last real threat to the Byzantines. Now the strongest person they border is the old Hispania Empire that only has 46,000 troops, where Byzantines have 124,000 troops. So unless they implode in this last like 180 years, they're gonna win the game, and I'm sick of the Byzantines winning. But you know, this is just what happens sometimes when they're OP. What I'm gonna say is I'm really proud of Alba. They actually united Britannia, so that's actually pretty good. But they're French, so I don't know how I feel about that. They are French, so really Alba did unite it, but they are French, so it's a little weird. West Francia is okay. The Byzantines actually started falling apart a little bit. There's a whole bunch of independence. They're still insanely powerful. There's no one that's even close to them. This is actually probably the most like border war I have had at like the end date. This is very interesting. But the Byzantines would probably just gain all their power back. No one else really can step up to stop them. I do think it's kind of cool that in Scandinavia these guys actually were starting to unite a little bit, because Scandinavia, to be honest, is always a mess. Estonia is pretty good up here. Poland I like too, but it's still a Byzantines games. But I do have to big shout out to Hamdan. This is one of the best Indian nations I've ever seen. They are doing so insane. Do you see all these kingdom titles they have? They are probably they could maybe rival the Byzantines, but I'm not sure. But this is the end date, and this is as far as I'm going to go. I've already been recording for about 6 hours at least. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for future episodes. Comment down other suggestions for AI only videos, and I hope you stay safe and having a good one. See ya, goodbye, stay safe. Also, here are other videos that are on the screen right now that you can also check out, so you can click on either of these videos if you would like to.